Welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of college basketball. March Madness is here. The bracket is set, and we are here once again to cover this tournament game by game, recap by recap, prediction by prediction, all the way to the end. As always, we sleep in May.
We're back.
So excited. It's gonna be a super exciting tournament, and there's a lot of games to get through, so we're gonna try to get through these pretty quick for this first round.
Yeah, the best teams are better than ever, and the teams in the middle, anything can happen. So expect the unexpected.
Absolutely. But without further ado, let's run it. First matchup in the East region, Duke against Siena. Thoughts?
Duke.
Enough said. Moving
Duke by a
on.
million. Well, is there anything more to say? Duke is
No,
one of the heavy favorites in this tournament, and I will say, Gavin Doty could have a Jack Gulke-like game, but they ain't winning.
he could, but Duke is too good on both ends of the floor, too big, too strong. This is not one that I could ever see happening. But moving on quickly to our first interesting 8-9 game, Ohio State against TCU. Really both teams that have been playing pretty well as of lately. I guess TCU kind of faltered to end the season, but they still are a very complete basketball team, led by guys like David Punch and Xavier Edmonds. Me personally, I've seen firsthand how well that Ohio State's been playing basketball recently, both before and during the Big Ten tournament, giving Michigan a run for their money. I love Bruce Thornton and John Mobley, that veteran backcourt, probably top, five, top seven, in college basketball, especially in this NCAA tournament. Give me the Buckeyes.
So this is about an interesting as a matchup as we'll see 8-9. I think it's a true toss-up. It could go either
Absolute
way.
toss up.
Ohio State is playing excellent basketball right now, especially into the Big Ten tournament and through it. They've only lost back-to-back games twice all season, but this TCU team is really that Jekyll and Hyde. They've beaten the very good teams and they've lost to the really bad teams, which actually, in a very weird way, I'm going to say Ohio State playing well works in TCU's favor. They're incredibly
Playing
unpredictable.
up to their
They're
competition, I
such a
guess.
wild card. They don't have eye-popping numbers, but they will play very, very hard. They'll be a scrappy team and they'll take this home.
Yeah, I totally get that, but I would say my counter to that is Ohio State is not a top team in terms of yes, Ohio State's playing better,
They're
but
playing
in
like
terms
it.
of but in terms of them waking up for a big time team, I don't feel like Ohio State's that for TCU. So I'm gonna go with the veteran presence. But moving on, you've got the 5 seed in St. John's, interesting place for Big East regular season and tournament champion St. John, which I predicted correctly, against Northern Iowa. What are your thoughts on this one? This is a little bit of an interesting one.
So the first thing I want to mention is that the two best teams in the Big East are placed in the same region of the
Yeah,
bracket. That's
stupid.
odd.
Especially with only three Big East teams in the tournament in its entirety. To me, there's zero reason that these two should have ended up in the same region.
Which, first of all, okay. One of the big themes in college basketball this year is big front courts, big post guys. And the duo of Bryce Hopkins and Zubi Ejiofor, they lead the charge for the Johnnies. Since they started 9-5, they've only lost one game going forward, and their guards have stepped up huge over the second half of the season and into the Big East tournament. They're playing their best basketball at the right time. The only way they can get got is if Northern Iowa controls the pace because they're second to last in tempo and they're a very, very, very good defensive team. So there is some upset potential here, but I think the Johnnies are too hot.
I entirely agree. Three main things. Northern Iowa's offense, big booty cheeks. Sorry. Plus, they're bad at free throws. This
Big
is a close
slow.
game. If this is a close game late, I do not trust Northern Iowa, and I don't think there's anyone on this roster to guard Zuby. I just don't think there is. You talk about Bryce Hopkins as well, but especially, Big East preseason player of the year, Zuby Ejiofor. He's a fantastic player. I don't think there's anybody on Northern Iowa that's going to be able to check him. So even if St. John's is struggling from the outside, I think they can just go inside and win this one in the paint. But moving on to the 4-13 in this region, you've got Kansas against California Baptist Lancers. Thoughts?
First ever tournament for Cal Baptist. Big round of applause. Congratulations for getting there. The buck stops here. Do I trust Kansas long term? No, absolutely not. When you have to ask, are you a better team without your best player than with? There's definitely some questions about your outlook, but they can win this game. They can win this game for sure.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is their defense has really stepped it up, and Kansas's defense I just think is too good for, an offense like Cal Baptist that only averages 73 points per game. Yes, you have an unbelievably, electric scorer in Dominique Daniels. Problem is, I think you just put Melvin Council Jr. or Trey White on him and say, let anybody else beat us. Get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. You got the interior presence with Floyd Badunga. I just think that there's no way that they can outscore Kansas with just the way that these two teams play. But moving on, we've got the number 6 seed Louisville against 11 seed South Florida. This is a really interesting matchup. I think South Florida is a kind of criminally underseeded team here. They play way
Yeah.
above an 11 seed. They're 51st in BPI. The analytics love Louisville. I do not. It's still really up in the air whether or not Michael Brown Jr. plays. Personally, I am trending towards no. And even if he does, I question whether or not it will be your best version of him. And if you get a Michael Brown Jr. that's not playing his best and is ball heavy and missing a bunch of shots, I think Louisville's cooked. I think South Florida just has too good of an offense, averaging 87.7 points per game. That Louisville, the only way that Louisville comes on top is if they've got the three ball going from all cylinders and they've got their big three all shooting the ball well. And something tells me Pat Kelsey and this team, I just don't trust it.
Yeah, I think this matchup's only interesting in the fact that I think both of these teams are incorrectly seeded. South Florida is not seeded high enough, and Louisville is seeded too high. The thing about Louisville with Michael Brown is they will depend on him a lot. And if he's not healthy, they're up the creek without a paddle. And even if he is healthy, I don't think it's going to matter.
They've got other scores, but then the problem is you need one of those absolutely explosive performances out
Yeah.
of Ryan Conwell.
Mhm.
And I can't. I'm blanking on the
And
other.
then on the other side with South Florida, they haven't lost in February or March, so they're red hot. They play super fast. They play the fourth fastest pace in the entirety of the tournament, and they're a top seven rebounding team. The thing about Louisville is there was potential for them to make a run if they got a really, really, really good draw. South Florida ain't it. I think South Florida's gonna kill them.
Plus, the other thing that I didn't even mention is Louisville has no front court. In terms of a team to face up against, you do not want to face USF's front court if you're Louisville. So I think there's just too
Yeah,
many
I
things
said,
that aren't in their
yeah.
favor.
I said Louisville was fraudulent in the ACC breakdown video. I'm sticking with it. They're not getting out of here alive.
No, I totally understand that. You move on to the 314 game in this region, the Michigan State Spartans against North Dakota State. I'm sorry, Michigan State is taking this game because North Dakota State is just buns. I've got
I
nothing
don't,
else.
I mean, they're not buns. They won their conference tournament, so that has to mean something. However, North Dakota State is one of the smaller teams in the tournament. They do not have the size to hang with more athletic teams, and Michigan State has a lot of big bodies and too many athletes. This is pretty much a matchup nightmare for North Dakota State. The Spartans are moving on.
Yeah, the thing is that the one thing that North Dakota State does pretty well is rebound, but they've never rebounded against a top rebounding team like Michigan State and the guys that they have down low. And the other thing for them is like North Dakota State, 124th in offense, 124th in defense, and 237th in tempo. There's nothing tells me that they can control this game any more than Jeremy Fears Jr. and Michigan State will with Tom Izzo as the head coach. Come on, give me the Spartans. Moving on to one of the most interesting 7-10 matchups, I think, in this entire bracket. It's UCLA against UCF. UCLA as a 7 seed, when healthy, is one of the scariest 7 seeds I maybe have ever seen. Because the way that UCLA is playing as of recently, you saw them go pretty toe to toe with Purdue in the Big Ten tournament with their leading scorer, Tyler Bilodeau, out, and Donovan Dent, their other leading scorer and star floor general point guard, playing only 10 minutes and scoring 4 points. They hung with them. They've got all of the rest of their role players playing fantastic. You're finally seeing the flashes of five-star Xavier Booker. If you get those two guys back and healthy, and the rest of those role players are still bought in, watch out for this Bruins roster.
So who's gonna win the game?
UCLA.
Yeah, so we're in pretty much agreement with that. I think it very much depends on the health of UCLA, but at the same time, I really don't think it's going to matter. Like you said, UCLA is a very talented team. They're a very complete team. They're playing their best basketball at the right time, and they're a pretty common pick to make a deep run out of the lower seeds in this tournament. And UCF rough Big 12 stretches. They've had some close calls against some not great mid majors, and they're kind of limping into the tournament. The only way this can get even a little wonky is if UCLA isn't at full strength right
Sure.
away and they come out the gate slow. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, when you have a team that's trending up so much like UCLA against a team that's trending down so much like UCF, I struggle to see how they're going to magically, not magically turn it around, but just, flip it like that. Especially if, again, the if is the health factor. Absolutely. But I still trust the Bruins and Mad Mick Cronin. Speaking of mad, moving on to the other mad coach. I love that transition. You've got the 2 seed UConn against 15 seed Furman. With this being, the top perennial team in the Big East,
So can we pick
UConn is
UConn and move on, please?
guess what? No, because I'm picking the Furman Paladins to
Okay.
upset UConn in this first round team. And here's why. I know you want to talk about our big callouts, our bookets. I could be so unbelievably wrong. This might be my first ever book it
This is very
in our
unusual for you.
predictions.
I'm
And here's
surprised.
why.
I'm
Here's why.
stunned.
Here's why. UConn is so unpredictable. They're not a fantastic offensive team on average. They only average 77.5 points. They've got a great defense. They only average 65 points per game from other teams. But the way that Furman wants to beat you is a way that I don't think that UConn is necessarily ready to defend. Furman lives in the 2 point range and not necessarily bigs trying to back you down. They're not going to try to back down Terrace Reed in the post. They love ball screens. They love driving to the lane and they love mid-range jump shots. I think they are going to dice up UConn's perimeter defense and getting into the mid-range and get tough
Hmm.
mid-range twos. And they make those at a high percentage. They are top 20 in the country in 2 point percentage. I think that is the perfect way to beat this UConn team, especially with the way that they are very up and down and sputtering. And if you get in Dan Hurley's head, shoot, you may even get him ejected.
Oh, come on.
Book it.
Oh, that's a little much, don't you think?
Nope.
So
I want to
what I will
bury the
say,
Big East right now.
what I will say is that where the spread lies at UConn minus 20 and a half, I think that's a little large.
Sure,
Now,
absolutely. I don't think this ends up even if UConn plays well, I don't think this is more than like a 15-point win
yeah,
for
I think
UConn.
Furman covers that, and I think that line is going to move in Furman's favor over the next few days. Do I
Sure.
see Furman winning outright? No, because it'll be like that is one of the biggest upsets in the tournament, like in the history of the tournament. I actually think it
No,
would
it's
be.
not.
I think it would be the third biggest by spread.
By
I j
spread,
by
maybe.
spread.
But we'll see
Yeah,
we'll see where the spread closes though. That's the whole thing, is I think that
it's
this
about where
spread's going to
it's
get a lot
yes, it's
closer.
about where the spread closes. Where it's at right now, though, that would be one of the biggest upsets in the history of the tournament by spread. And that's
I
something
could
that
be
I found
wrong.
fascinating across the board because the spreads have never been larger.
Again, the top teams are that good. That's the upper echelon of the.
UConn is one of them.
Yes, but they're also one of the teams that have barely scraped by in so many of their wins this season and have had the couple of absolute stinker performances where they just look horrible. And
So they're
if
not a national championship team. I'm willing to accept that, but do I think they're going to get upset by a 15 seed? No.
we'll
We're going to be
see.
paying very close attention to that one.
Absolutely, we will. But we will move on to the South region of this bracket to keep this moving. We've got Florida against the winner of Lehigh, and gotta be honest, I don't even remember who PV, Prairie Valley or
Prairie
something?
Valley
That's
A&M.
what it is. Prairie Valley A&M. Sorry, it doesn't matter anyway because Florida's winning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these ones and 16s, it's pretty cut and dry here. I feel like we can move right along to the another interesting, for all the wrong reasons, 8-9 matchup,
Yeah, I
Clemson and
was gonna
Iowa.
say my least favorite 8-9 matchup in this
Dude,
entire bracket.
it's a snail versus a slug. My God, these teams are slow and slower. We've said it off camera, the real losers are the fans. This is not a great matchup at
I
all.
I've got to be honest, I will not be watching this game. I'm so sorry, but I won't. As much as I want to believe in, a team that's led by their one dominant big time scorer like Bennett Sturts is, I don't trust this Iowa team at all. I think for Clemson, you
I don't
guard
trust
Sturts.
Clemson either. Yeah,
You
like
no,
Clemson's any better.
but you guard Sturts, and I don't feel like Iowa has an answer anywhere else. The biggest thing is the fact that when you've seen Bennett Sturts get flustered or pressured, he doesn't make smart decisions. You'll see him chuck up a
Yeah.
lot of dumb shots. for the sake of getting shots up because he has to do it all himself and he knows it.
I mean, he just like
I
me for real.
I don't like Clemson either. Don't get me wrong. This is a battle of who I think is going to suck less, but I'm giving it to Clemson.
No, I'm also giving it to Clemson, even though I think this game can very much end 55 to 50.
Literally, that's the thing. It
Maybe
could end
maybe
in both
even lower
directions.
scoring.
Yeah.
Can we move to a more exciting matchup, please?
Absolutely. Vanderbilt as the 5 seed against McNeese State at the 12 seed. This one is going to be very interesting because I was personally surprised to see Vanderbilt fall to the 5 line after the performance that they put on throughout the course of the SEC tournament. But McNeese is as exciting as always, even without Buckyball. They are still a high-powered offense and a very staunch defense. But Vanderbilt's just playing too good right now. I think when you've got guys like Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles playing at such a high level, I don't know if McNeese State has enough of answers for those guys in the backcourt.
Yeah, I like Vandy too. I think the way McNeese gets them is if they force Vanderbilt into a lot of turnovers and a lot of dumb turnovers early and
Sure.
often. But this Vanderbilt backcourt and this team in general is just really exciting. The question going into the SEC tournament was could they play against the physical teams? And the way they manhandled Florida proved that as a resounding yes. Um, but Vanderbilt doesn't turn the ball over and they make their free throws. So just the way they've been rolling right now, I like them to move on.
Yeah, I totally
That's where
agree.
we at.
As much as I loved seeing McNeese as a 12 get an upset last year over Clemson of all teams,
Which was
um,
fun.
I don't I don't see it happening this year. It's just a little bit of a different situation. Now you've got the 4 seed Nebraska Cornhuskers seeking their first ever program win in NCAA tournament history
Hey, who would have thunk it?
against
What a time.
Troy, the Troy Trojans.
What a time.
Man, this one, it's more of a toss-up than you might think. I think a lot of
What are
people
you
trust
going to
a
pick?
lot of a lot of these teams or a lot of these people are trusting Troy and their front court with guys like Victor Valdez and Thomas Dowd. I don't think there's a chance in hell that this Nebraska team has come this far, set a program record for wins, and doesn't come away with a tournament win. I know they haven't necessarily been the most convincing team ever throughout stretches of this season. I think their defense is going to hold true, and they're going to come away with this win. I trust in the Cornhuskers. I trust in this Big Ten. They got to do it right, right? Please.
But could you imagine?
It would be so depressing, bro.
Could you imagine? I think it would be one of the more Nebraska things of all time
That's the
to
problem. It would
come
be.
all that way and lose to a team
It would
that
be.
has been, quite honestly, tabbed as an upset team
Yeah.
all season long. You and I were saying it earlier this season. Watch out for Troy. And Troy has beaten teams like San Diego State. They've beaten Furman. They've beaten Akron. And do we think that this Nebraska team is the same team that started 20 and 0?
No.
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing. I don't think they have to be the same team to win this game. They just have to be
Oh, 100%.
a part. They have to be a part of that team. And the big thing is going to be their defense. It's going to be, how are they able to especially limit the interior? They don't necessarily have the best interior bigs, but if you could take away or at least just again limit those two front court guys in Valdez and Taud, that
It
that's going to be your recipe for success. I trust in the defense.
Yeah, defense wins championships. I'm taking Nebraska as well, but could you imagine
I don't want to
how
imagine. That's the
ironic
problem.
that would be? That would not be great for
I'm not like a
Nebraska.
Nebraska fan, but I would be sad for them. I want them
I
to
would
get
no,
one.
I would be sad for them too, but
Speaking of a
crazy.
team that I won't be sad for when they lose, the North
Okay.
Carolina Tar Heels.
Okay.
I've played my cards already on this one, but
Yeah,
North
yeah, yeah,
Carolina
yeah, you
without
have.
Caleb Wilson,
So
I don't trust him
I
at
think
all.
you should just
VCU,
shut up and we should sprint through this one like VCU sprinted through the A10 tourney because I also have them. UNC not at full strength. They're I'm worried about them playing a guard-oriented three-point shooting team. Enter the VCU Rams. See ya,
I
UNC.
I don't
Try
trust
again next year
UNC
when
at
you get a
all
little
with.
healthier, unfortunately.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Caleb Wilson dunking the ball in practice. Why would you do it? Why would you risk it? You broke your thumb and now you're done, and probably your team too. Moving along, you've got probably one of your favorite games, Drew. The
What do you
three seed
mean?
Illinois
What do you
against
mean?
your Penn. What
My
are they? The
pen.
Quakers. You and I have been texting plenty off screen about how much you love this Quakers team and TJ Power and what they were able to do in this Ivy League tournament, especially with Fran McCaffrey at the helm. Um, Tell me all about this Penn team, because man, you seem to love them in the last week.
So, so Penn Penn is very exciting, and that Ivy League championship was an all-timer. But I'm gonna go talk about Illinois first because the ceiling is sky high with this
The
team.
ceiling is the roof.
The
Sorry,
ceiling,
that's wrong team. Not
no,
North
we
Carolina
already.
anymore.
I thought we were done with them. I thought they were out. Get out of here, Michael Jordan. Um, yeah, the ceiling is the roof, or wherever you want the roof to be. There might not even be a roof because this internationally built, high-flying, offensive, rebounding, running, massive freshman, veteran, whatever you want to say about them. Like they got all of it. They got all of it. So I can very easily see this Illinois team making a run to the Final Four. But on the other side, you got the Quake Show, baby. Fran,
Wake
he's
show.
he's back. TJ
He is.
Power, who is a Power 5 recruit, by the way.
He's a 5 star.
Yeah,
5 star
he
signed to
ain't he
Duke.
ain't no darn scrub. He ain't no darn
Nope.
scrub. And these Ivy Leagues, we've seen them in the past come away with some really big upsets. Princeton a few years back, that was a big shock.
Yale
Um,
over Auburn.
Yale over Auburn, that's another one. Um, Now the spread right now is at 24 and a half in favor of the Illini,
That's pretty crazy.
which would be which which would be when Penn wins the biggest upset by spread in the
I knew you were
history
gonna do it.
of the NCAA
I knew
tournament.
it.
You have your bucket, I have mine. The biggest upset by spread in the history of the NCAA basketball tournament is the 23 and a half point underdog Fairleigh Dickinson Knights against your Purdue Boilermakers. So Purdue is going to be vindicated
Why would
because
you do this?
because
Why
the
would you say that?
Illini because the Illini are going to take the mantle for biggest losing favorite in the history of the tournament. Dude, I am all over the Quake Show. The vibes around Penn and the Quakers and Fran, dude, we are on full Fran Con all tournament long because not only do I see Penn winning this game, I think there's potential for them to win another and maybe even another, but I'm not going that far yet. They're getting past Illinois.
Interesting.
That I will say.
Interesting. Screw your oats. Screw your Quaker oats. Give me the Balkan boys. Plain and simple, Illinois, even if they don't play their best game, they are simply way too big. They are way too tall. They are way too good on the glass. Penn was in a battle on the boards with Yale in that championship game. In fact, Yale out rebounded them. You are coming up against one of the
So,
best rebounding teams in the country with multiple 7 footers. If you want to talk about absolute,
yeah.
crazy games like TJ Power had, may I introduce you to Keaton Wagler? If there's anyone that can out TJ Power, it's Keaton Wagler. And I think that he has the time to recover from his back spasms that he's
That's
been dealing with lately. Um, I love a feel good story. I'm not an Illini fan. I certainly didn't like them beating Purdue this year, but I know just what they can do when they play really well. I think if they play moderately well, they have all of the right tools to handle this Penn team handedly.
but this is March, Tim.
Yes, it is.
Just saying.
And we move on to the 7-10 game in this region. You've got the St. Mary's Gales against the new Buckyball, Texas A&M. I don't trust Buckyball at all this year. I got to be honest. Texas A&M had
No.
such an electric
No, I
start and
don't
has come
either.
crashing down to earth. But the main thing about St. Mary's is they are so much better rebounding, defensive. three-point shooting team and free throw shooting team. I just don't think there's a way other than Texas A&M just playing stupid fast. But the problem is St. Mary's is so good at controlling the pace. So I don't think that Texas A&M is going to turn this enough into their game for St. Mary's to not be able to do all of the rest of the things that they do well. Give me the Gales.
Yeah, I agree. This is a really, really bad draw for Buckyball and the Aggies. And they kind of ran out of gas in the SEC tournament as it is. They could win in the right matchup. This is the exact opposite of
Wrong.
that.
Yeah.
This could not be any more of the wrong matchup for Texas A&M, even if they wanted it to be, which is exactly why they could win. But they're not gonna.
Welcome to March. But the last matchup in this region is the 2:15 Houston against Idaho. Sorry, Houston is not allergic to potatoes. Cougars move on.
Yeah, let's keep running it. Arizona and Long Island.
Yep,
Do
moving
you
up
like
to
a
the
feel
west
good
side of the
story?
bracket. Fins up. And they're going right back down because there's absolutely zero way that Arizona loses this basketball game. I am so sorry.
Why'd you make us do that, man? I
Because
like
Fins Up is great. I love Fins Up. Shout out Ryan Hammer. Shout out Long Island. I love a feel good story. I
you're just
love this
making me
team,
sad.
but they're going up against
That feel good
an
story's
amazing.
crashing down. Like what?
I hate to break it to you, but 116 is not gonna 116 upset's not happening this year. But moving to
We
another
can
one of
dream.
the other actually interesting 8-9 games, you've got 8 seed Villanova against 9 seed Utah State. And another game where massively
Is
underseeded non-power 4 team. Utah State should never have been a 9 seed. They are a fantastic team. They are actually higher in the BPI than Villanova. They're playing great basketball right now. I love MJ Collins. I love Mason Falslev. They're just they're a very, very solid team. And Villanova, as great as they've gotten to this point, they just feel a little bit too shaky coming up against a team that's peaking right now in Utah State.
peaking or just beating up on a bad Mountain West?
You could put it both ways, but at the same time, I think Utah State is just that good on offense that it doesn't matter whether or not they're playing those
Yeah, I'm being
teams or
told
not.
from a lot of different angles that
Sources, my
Utah State
sources,
is the truth. Um,
I believe.
and you can believe all you want.
You just
Big East
believe in the Big
supremacy.
East.
I believe in the Big
I'm
East,
sorry,
man.
you cannot ever say Big East supremacy in a year where there are three Big East teams in the
The Big
tournament,
East will
and
always
and
reign
that
supreme.
when a bottom three Marquette team beat your top amazing UConn team.
Yeah, you act like weird things don't happen in these
Big
conference
East
games.
supremacy.
Listen, Seton Hall should be in
Move,
the field.
move
Seton
that I
Hall should
agree
be in
with.
the field.
I
100%. This
love
should
Seton
not be a
Hall.
three-bid league. The Big
Shout out
East
to
is
Shaquem
better.
Holloway.
Yeah, the Big East is far better than a three-bid league. The fact that they only have three teams in this thing is criminal. You
Well,
should
the
have put
bubble is
Seton Hall
also
in.
horrible, so cry about it.
I will
Moving
cry
on
about
to
it. Seton Hall should be in.
moving on
What
to the
else do you need?
5-12 game. Another one of the most popular that I have seen picked upsets. You've got 5 seed Wisconsin and 12 seed High Point. Everyone's favorite 12 or 13 seed to pick, and that's why they're going to lose.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, High Point scores the ball at will. They literally average 90 points a game. But High Point's thing is causing turnovers. I'm pretty sure they lead the country in causing turnovers, but the problem is you're coming up against a Wisconsin team
Yeah, but they
with
also
one
don't
of the
turn the ball
most
over that much.
correct. Wisconsin holds on to the ball like with some of the best in the country. And you've got two veteran guards in John Blackwell and Nick Boyd that are not going to get flustered by this brand of basketball. I look exactly at the Purdue High Point matchup last year of, oh my God, they've got this crazy high flying High Point team, and then Purdue says, okay, and beats them by 12. I think the exact same thing is going to happen here. Wisconsin is a good enough offense to easily
Wisconsin
keep
by
up
12?
with
Are you booking that?
Wisconsin by 13.
Oh, you want to be different.
I love being different.
Hipster.
I am so
Hipster.
different. I am special, and there's nothing you can do about it. Speaking of special, 4 seed Arkansas against 13 seed
You didn't even
Hawaii.
give me a chance to pick a team.
It doesn't matter what you pick.
What do you then why are we doing this show? Then what's the point of this? If it
Say your piece.
Okay, fine.
I run this show. Say your piece.
Wisconsin's win. Whoa. Hey. We're-
I'm running the show now.
uh-uh. Let's not have this power struggle on camera. Let's keep things cordial and move right along.
Yeah,
I
but you've
have
got
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I have Wisconsin. Man, whatever.
So what's the problem?
You made me want to pick High Point
Do it.
with your shenanigans and
Do
your
it.
gerrymandering
Do
of
it.
this show. Yeah,
Gerrymandering.
you're redrawing the borders of what this show means.
No, I'm just taking over.
Ugh,
But
I can't let that
speaking
happen.
of taking over, speaking over, oh, words are hard. Speaking of special,
This is
number
why
four
you
seed
can't take
Arkansas,
over.
Darius Acuff is unreal. I don't know what else to say about this Arkansas team. The fact that they average 90 points a game
Yeah,
as a high major team in the SEC, oh, what is Hawaii supposed to do?
play big as hell and hope that their size overwhelms them, which ain't gonna
Maybe.
happen. Which ain't gonna
Here's the
happen.
problem though.
But that is a unique thing about Hawaii.
Yeah.
They're a very good defensive team, and their size allows them to attack the glass very well, and they play pretty fast. So those are some elements that in a better matchup they could potentially upset. And I'm not even saying that it's completely out of the question, but we both like this John Calipari Arkansas team.
Which is weird. I don't like John
Although
Calipari in the tournament.
Although yeah, that's the other shoe, John Calipari in the tournament.
I think he expelled his tournament demons by putting on a strong performance last year. And with a guy as special as Darius Acuff, the reason why I hate this matchup for Hawaii, the way Hawaii wants to defend, they want to force one-on-one offense. Darius Acuff will love that.
Yeah,
Arkansas will
they
love
will.
that. They will torch that all day. There's just no way that Hawaii keeps up. Moving on to the 6-11 matchup in this quadrant. You've got BYU as the 6 seed against the winner of the 11 seed play-in, Texas and NC State. I gotta be honest, I don't think I thought about this game all that hard because I don't think either of the 11 seed teams, whoever comes out of the play-in, is going to have an answer for AJ Debonsa. I think he drops 30, and I think BYU wins relatively comfortably.
Yeah, this is a very, very, very weak bubble, which is why Seton Hall should have been in the first place. But NC State and Texas, I don't really like either one of them. I think NC State, there's kind of something there, but
There can be,
it can't. But
but
then
is
again,
there?
it's I think there can be something there. Texas, I don't think there is anything there. And AJ
There's Cam
Debonsa,
Heidi. Purdue mentions.
Gonzaga and Kennesaw State, what do you got, bud?
Um, I'm sorry. Kennesaw State play fast, but not good. Also, I don't think there's anybody to guard Graham Ike. Give me Gonzaga.
Yeah, you can sprint. That might make you a good track athlete. It's not
They
going to
run
make you a very
fast.
good basketball player. Run fast, jump high. Go join the decathlon.
Yeah,
Give me
not
Zags.
there's just simply nothing about this matchup that excites me.
Interesting
Um,
matchup. Let's go. Miami, Mizzou.
you do have an interesting one in the 7-10. You've got Miami and Mizzou playing in St. Louis of all places, which is very interesting for Mizzou. It's only about 125 miles from their university. I think it may be clear who you're going with. Care to elaborate?
Um, Come on, man. The Hurricanes are fun. Malik Reneau, Trey Donaldson, other guys. And
Other guys. That's such a convincing argument. Those two other guys.
well, the thing about Mizzou is that everything goes through Mark Mitchell, and if you stop Mark Mitchell, then Mizzou's kind of in trouble. They kind of had an up and down season in a very tough SEC, but Miami, in their losses against the powers of the ACC, they were in it towards the end, and you're going to find yourself on the right side of those. The more often you play them, I like Miami's experience. I like the Lucas leadership. Um, I also like Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Final Four is going to be held. Indianapolis, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
Um,
it will be.
but yeah, St. Louis is a home game for Mizzou. It's not going to matter. The Canes are just too big, too strong, too powerful.
Yeah, I love what Jai Lucas has done with Miami in his first season. I think what it comes down to for me is it's Mark Mitchell versus Malik Reneau, and I think Malik Reneau is just going to win that matchup anyway. And if he wins that
Wow.
matchup, then
Could you imagine yourself saying that before this year?
no, I mean, all respect to Malik Reneau in his return to his hometown in Miami. He has really stepped up his game, and then obviously Trey Donaldson has continued to expand on his. You got two guys that have come from the Big Ten to Miami and really stepped up their game to lead this team pretty
And that
well.
was
So
actually what I kind of liked about this Miami team to start the season anyway, is because when you have your two best players that have experience in big time college basketball, such as the Big Ten, and they were major parts of that Indiana and Michigan team, although, it's not like either one of them had much individual success. They've teamed up at Miami and they could make something special. It was a very, very, very fast turnaround for the Canes, and I think it's going to continue at least one more round.
I totally agree. Give me the Canes. Then you move on to the 215. Purdue against Queen's University in Charlotte, not in New York City.
A very important distinction for sure.
I mean, Oscar Clough didn't know. They interviewed him post game after the Big Ten tournament. He
What
was
is what
like,
does Oscar
"They're
Clough
in. They're
know?
like they're in. He's from Australia. Do you really believe you? Do you really expect him to know where Queen's University Charlotte is? Come on.
Crikey.
The Royals
Shrimps on the
are.
barbie.
They're such a wild team. They score 85 points per game. They actually score more points per game than Purdue, but their defense is the equivalent of an old Western saloon door. Anybody's getting through. Anybody. They give up 83 points per game. As much as this would be another crazy Purdue high up high seed upset
Dude,
loss in the first
if
round,
because there's a history. If
can I go on like a 20-second rant of why it's not happening?
after I say I'm gonna
Doesn't
feel
matter.
some
I
I'm
am.
gonna feel some kind of
The
way if
reason
you're
why
back making
Purdue
another
isn't going
video.
to the reason why Purdue isn't going to lose this game is A, senior leadership at the guard position. This isn't your freshman year Braden Smith that's going to fall into turnovers. B, this defense can't force turnovers. C, they have no one over 220 pounds who is guarding Trey Kaufman-Renn and Oscar Clough, who just put up 41 combined against the best defense in the country with three of the best big men in the country. Enough said.
I mean, I like Purdue too. I mean, they're okay, I guess.
That's the problem is I have to give you exactly the reason why Purdue isn't going to do this to me again.
Yeah, although, do I dare say why they could?
I mean, go for it.
So Purdue's downfall, especially late in the regular season, what te was teams that absolutely lit it up from three. Enter Chris Ashby and Carson Schweiger, the pick and pop to death duo merchants. I don't know. That chuck it
Fun
up from
fact, Schweiger
three
is not actually that much of a pick and pop guy. He may shoot threes as a forward, but he's not a pick and pop guy really. So I will correct you on that. He
still
shoots
could
a lot of
happen.
threes, but not in pick and pop. I will say Chris Ashby is scary, but I think the thing that comes down to it for me, literally CJ Cox, Chris Ashby, you can kiss for the entire game. Never leave his
What?
face.
What?
You heard me.
What?
Never leave his face. Run him off the three-point line. He doesn't want to do anything
Dude,
else.
I get that it's Queens, but do you gotta kiss him to death?
Whatever it takes to win, man.
I guess all
It's
you need is
2026.
listen. I guess all you need is love for the
Love always
Boilermaker
wins.
Express. Yeah, love always wins. Um,
No,
that was so weird.
I am
Why?
totally
Why was
moderately
that the
scared of Chris
direction that you
Ashby.
decided to take it?
Don't question it, man. It's March. Um, I am moderately scared of Chris
This
Ashby,
is
but
March. We question everything.
I think what it comes down to is just the fact of you run him off the three-point line. He doesn't want to do anything else.
Queens is chaotic enough of an offense. It'll be
They could.
fun. It'll
But
be fun.
but the problem is, I think Jacobson could drop 20 on this team, and that says a lot.
We already feel.
Jacobson has dropped 20 on better defenses than Queens has.
Let's just hope Jacobson knows how to play and knows where he's at in space. Because if they forget how to play basketball, then I don't know.
Just send his ass back to the bench. Moving on to the Midwest region, you've got Michigan against the winners of
Okay.
UMBC and Howard. Once again, the next episode of Does It Matter Who Wins? No, Michigan moving on.
Yeah, okay. We'll go.
Much more interesting 8-9 matchup. You've got the fast, athletic Georgia Bulldogs against the St. Louis Billikens. Um, Man, St. Louis is so much fun. It was crazy to watch the end of their eventual downfall in the A10 tournament against Dayton. Dayton almost pulled it off for me and won that tournament. They did not. But I think what it's going to come down to is I don't think that St. Louis has the athleticism to keep up with the speed and high flying offense that Georgia possesses with almost 90 points per game. Um, as good as St. Louis also scores the ball, I don't think they've ever played a team like Georgia.
Yeah, that's part of it. St. Louis plays fast, Georgia plays faster. St. Louis plays efficient, but you look at them down the stretch with the A10, they kind of played with their food a little bit too much in the A10 tournament. They had some losses to some not great teams, and their defense could really be their undoing, especially if Georgia turns this into a track meet. I have the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that one. Moving to another popular upset pick, partially because of injuries going on. You've got the
Ah,
5 seed Texas Tech
nonsense.
against the 12 seed Akron Zips.
No,
I have been pretty high on
no.
Akron throughout the year, but I will be the first to say in this matchup, Christian Anderson is coming back. He is going to be healthy despite his groin scare in the Big 12 tournament. I think the combination of him and how unbelievably electric, I don't think I really knew just how well Donovan Atwell was shooting the ball until I looked into this team deeper.
You were not
He's,
familiar with his game, and then you became
well,
familiar with his game.
I mean, here's the thing. I watched him play against Purdue and he hit a couple of threes early and I went, "Huh, that's interesting." But I was not aware that he's shooting 45% from 3 on 273
Yeah, he
attempts.
is shooter.
Give me Christian Anderson and Donovan Atwell, even without JT Toppin, the Zips won't have an answer.
So the only thing that the JT Toppin injury hurts is their upside. Akron is the perennial contender of the MAC, back to back to back MAC championships, but they don't do well against tournament teams, and they don't do well in the tournament. So I like Texas Tech as well. There's no way that they're going down without a fight. There's one thing that you can say about this Grant McCasland-led Texas Tech team is that they're tough. They are tough as nails. They faced enough adversity to at least make it to the weekend.
For sure. I totally agree. This is not going to be their downfall, even though I don't have them going nearly as far without JT Toppin.
So this next
Move,
game,
moving
uh,
on to my favorite matchup in
a
this
few
entire
extra wrinkles
bracket.
in this one since the bracket came out.
The,
What's going on here?
the
Bama and
four seed
Hofstra.
the 4 seed Alabama Crimson Tide against 13 seed Hofstra. Alabama has a criminal on their team, or maybe not anymore. Aiden Holloway, averaging 17 points per game, gets arrested for a Class C felony marijuana possession. Um,
Wow,
he is
we're just gonna go out and just tell it like it is. All right.
it's on the news, it's everywhere. Why hide
I
from it? There is a very good
you were
chance
just
that
very
he is
blunt and
not.
cavalier about it, and I didn't expect that. I expect a little bit more
Nope, it don't matter. Um,
je ne sais quoi from you.
he
I
he
didn't use
is
that correctly at all.
unlikely. He is unlikely to make it back to the team before this Friday. He is away from campus, away from the university, pending investigation. But the problem is athletics has no control over that investigation, and I don't think that they're going to be in any rush to give him any particular chance to make it back before Friday. Without Aiden Holloway, you are missing LeBaron Philon's right-hand man, a 17 point per game scorer who shoots it incredibly well from the outside. I think this is brewing for a massive discomforting performance from Alabama. Give me Hofstra.
Yeah, this is one that I've gone back and forth on a while because that Aiden
Me
Holloway
too.
absence changes a lot of things, especially with the tempo game. Believe it or not, Hofstra does not play fast. They are very slow.
Oh,
They like to control the pace, and that could work in their favor, especially with that backcourt of Preston Edmond and Cruz Davis. And it's not like they have, they've gone up against some Power Five teams and they've beaten them. Pitt, Syracuse, and they almost beat UCF. Are they going to beat a potentially discombobulated Alabama team? I wish I could say get back to me on that one, but we literally can't because we're doing a show about it right
I was like,
now.
you're on the floor.
Yeah, no,
You gotta call it.
yeah, it gets interesting. Um, you're going Hofstra
I
for
am.
better or for worse. I think I'm going to go Bama here because if Bama controls the pace and if they can keep it together, because it's not like Aiden Holloway, you take them out, they totally fall apart. They still got Latrell Wrightsell
They
that
do.
could slot in as a number two, and LeBaron Philon. If it was LeBaron Philon that was out, then I'd be a
Yeah.
little bit more worried, but still not really. Um, this Bama team knows who they are. They have an identity. They always have. And the only way they lose this one is if they let Hofstra play at their pace. And I don't think they're going to want to do that at all. So, again, no.
I think there's a different way that Alabama loses this game. I,
Ah,
it's the three-point line. Alabama shoots some of the most three-pointers per game in the entire country. If they're not nailing their shots, I like the way that you've got two electric guards at Hofstra, arguably the best mid-major guard combo
yes.
in all of college basketball and in
Yep.
this tournament. I don't know without Aiden
I
Holloway if you
see
got the
it.
same
I
firepower from
do.
deep.
I would be lying if I said that there's oh yeah, there's no way that Hofstra beats Bama. No, there's a way. There is a way. And Bama does not like lockdown defensive on-ball guards that isn't afraid to go one-on-one with their guys. That is their weakness, and unfortunately for them, Hofstra has it. So there's a lot of elements, there's a lot of factors here in play.
This one's going to be really, really interesting. Probably the most
Yes, it will.
interesting 4-13 straight up, other than maybe Nebraska Troy. Those two are going to be
No,
the
I think
two
no, this one's
major.
more interesting.
I think it is though, just surrounding the circumstances of Alabama and what
Yeah.
Alabama's going to show up in the aftermath of this news. Nobody knows right now. But we're getting to the last couple of games. You've got 6 seed Tennessee against the winner of the other 11 seed play-in, Miami, Ohio, who does make it in with their one loss, and SMU,
The last
the very
team.
last team in. You've got a very offense heavy 11 seed play in between Miami, Ohio, and SMU. The problem is I don't think either one has the front court, the height, or the physicality to match up with Tennessee. Unfortunately, I do have the Volunteers coming away with this one, regardless of the fact that I think that either Miami, Ohio, or SMU could be a better story coming out of their play-in.
Yeah, it's not always about the better stories. It's about who plays better basketball. And I like Tennessee as well. Although I will be rooting for Miami of Ohio.
I would not be upset at
My heart
all
goes out to
if,
them
yeah, I would
because
love to see Miami, Ohio in
I'm
the
just happy they're
actual
in the
field of
field.
64. I would
Yeah.
love to see them in this first round, and I certainly would love to see them pulled off this upset, but deep in my
I
heart,
mean,
I can't do it.
it's a
I don't see
survive
it.
in advance for Miami of Ohio. Something that they got going for them is they have lots and lots of experience playing and winning close games.
That they
So,
do.
and that could come in handy, but that they don't have any quad one games.
No, they do not.
This would be the first.
This would be their first. In fact, and it will be their first playing SMU, if I'm not mistaken. I think that clearly
That's the
classifies
point.
as a quad one, regardless
That's
if they
that's
could
the
make it to
point.
the
They have
first round.
none. They're the first team ever to make the NCAA tournament without playing a single quad one game.
We'll see how it turns out for them. Going into the last three, we've got the 3 seed Virginia against 14 seed Wright State. I'm sorry, Wright State is unbelievably mid. Virginia looks really good right now. I see zero reason
Whoa.
why Virginia doesn't move on.
Whoa. Mid?
They are.
What? I wouldn't totally write off Wright State. I think they
Call me
got a
crazy.
lot of potential in that group. They got a duo of freshmen, Michael Cooper and Kellen Pickett. You got a guy in TJ Birch that leads the country in steals per game. They have some nice pieces. Do I think they're going to beat Virginia?
As a
No.
team, they are mid as
No.
a team.
No.
Outside top
But
100 on offense, outside just inside the top 200 in
listen,
defense.
man, Butler
And
beat
they're just
Virginia.
inside
Virginia
the,
is susceptible.
not lately. Virginia pushed Duke to the limits. Virginia is
Which
playing amazing basketball right now.
I don't know.
I don't see it. Moving on to these last two,
I
you've
don't I
got,
don't either, but let's just not let this isn't going to be like a
let's
30-point blowout.
let's get through the rest of this. We're so close. We're so
We
close.
got two more games left.
Two more. Seven
This
seed
is so fun to
Kentucky,
talk about.
10 seed Santa Clara. It is, and I would talk about this all night, but I don't think people want to watch an hour and a half video. I love Santa Clara. The way Santa Clara is playing right now, they have done an amazing job beating St. Mary's to get to the WCC championship game. They were not able to take down Gonzaga in that championship game. But I don't see cohesion with this Kentucky team. I think the only way Kentucky makes it out of this game is you have just a nuclear game from Otega Owe.
There it
And
is
I don't think
again.
we've seen
Nuclear
we're
words.
I don't
English.
who needs them? I don't
We
see that
do.
type of performance out of Otega Owe in this basketball game, especially not against a team like Santa Clara. I think they've got enough size, they've got enough physicality to be a type of team that can push Kentucky, similar
Yeah.
to a lot of the ways that Kentucky lost throughout the course of the season. Now, if Kentucky was at full strength, they wouldn't be a seven seed probably. They wouldn't be here. But that's not the Kentucky team that's in this basketball game. I don't trust the vibes around this team, and I don't trust the guys that they have out on the floor right now.
I'm gonna make it very, very simple. This is a vibes game. The vibes around Santa Clara are awesome. The vibes around Kentucky are not. I like Santa Clara.
Yeah, I do too. Last game in this first round, you've got 2 seed Iowa State against 15 seed Tennessee State. Everything that I found about Tennessee State is they're really just so much of two players and they turn the ball over a lot. Iowa State will feast on that. I think that Iowa State may cause 17, 18 turnovers in
Yeah,
this
this
game.
is probably going to be one of the biggest margins of victory in favor of Iowa State in the tournament. But the one thing about Tennessee State is that they're not going to be scared. They're not going to tiptoe into the street fight. They're going to come in guns a-blazing for better or for worse, most likely for worse.
They will try. But that wraps up our first round predictions. I know it's a long video. Whoever made it this far, thank you so much. We're back in March Madness. We're back covering this tournament. It's our favorite time of the year. Speaking of, now that this bracket is out, so is the Running the Table Bracket Challenge. We'll have the link in the video. We'll have the link down below in the description. Join it. We have up to 3 brackets available in this bracket challenge for you to put in. I want to see so many brackets in here. This is going to be an electric year for college
If you
basketball.
think you know ball, we want all the smoke.
Bring your best.
We want all the
Not,
smoke.
not that we're very good at this anyway.
Oh, please.
I've won it
Speak
twice though.
speak for yourself.
I've won it twice.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I, I'm not the defending champion anymore, but um,
He will be back
yes,
to defend his crown, by the way.
absolutely. But that is all we've got for today. These games are going to be starting with the first four on Tuesday, and then the first round here on Thursday. It's coming up quickly. Make sure you get your brackets in. Look at all these teams. Put your best guesses on there because boy, we are in for a wild ride
Your
this
guess is as
tournament.
good as ours.
Exactly. If you think it's your year, put your hat in the ring. But keep an eye out for all of the rest of these videos coming up as Purdue plays and hopefully advances. You'll see more Purdue recaps from me. We'll have first
Unless
round
Queens
recap
wins.
and second round predictions. No, I don't want to hear it. We'll have all of those videos out, so please stay tuned. But if you want more from us, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, we're out.